Hello, grand day, everybody. I am Marcus, Christolight, and I'm here today to help deliver a wonderful experience that took place through one of my holistic energy healing services. And that service is my Soul Origin Galactic Therapy meditation space. And these Soul Origin Galactic Therapy meditation spaces are one-on-one spaces where I, as the facilitator, I sit with my client, and it's online or in person. And my client lays and gets into a meditative state, focuses on the breathing, focuses on just going inward. And what I do is I channel as a psychic medium. I channel the other person or the client's higher self, and then their higher self directs and guides me through meditation on how to direct and guide the client consciously into connection and uncovering of becoming aware of their higher self or their soul origin. Now, there's many benefits that can come with these sessions, and some of those benefits, just to go over them a little bit, is remembrance of your higher self and your home planet or star system. And when I say remembrance of your higher self, it is yourself that is at the soul level, the self that is beyond the human, and that has experience in many, many different lifetimes and forms. And along with this, you can also develop a deeper inner peace mentally, physically, and emotionally, as there can be emotions as well as physical ailments, as well as mental memories and mental cognitive functions that could be tied to either past life incarnations or your soul origin itself. It also can benefit into a renewed sense of purpose on Earth at this time or in your life. DNA healing and activation, clearing of trauma stored in the being system, expanded spiritual connection, deprogramming of limited beliefs, release of stagnant energy, and also communication with your spirit guides or your higher being selves. So these are all benefits that can take place potentially from one of these Soul Origin Galactic Therapy meditation spaces. And also, if anybody else is curious, what I tap into when I go into, the energy field for becoming aware of these timelines is I tap into the Akashic Records, if people are familiar with the Akashic Records. But that's a little bit about what these sessions are and what all comes with it and the type of benefits that you can receive through receiving one of these type of sessions. So here with us today, we have a divine sister who just recently received one of these galactic therapy sessions, and we ended up uncovering some really beautiful things. It got very emotional, and it was very healing and very transformative, the experience that we had in this session. So with us today, we have Marcia, and she also goes by Energy Soul Child, and she is with us to share her experience from our session. And all I gotta say is just get your popcorn and enjoy this show, as this is quite a profound experience and something to really sit and digest, as it's really an example of not only the power we have within our memory and within our mind to access different aspects and different times and spaces of ourselves, but it's just really amazing the layers that can be shed through these type of sessions. Sacred Light Healing and Wellness is a sacred safe space and container to help bridge and streamline the collective conscious. Along with this, providing spaces and holistic energy healing practices to help uncover our hearts and strengthen each other from within.
Beautiful, brother. Thank you.
So that we may tap in to the awareness of our sacred light within. If you are someone that is looking for sacred space, looking for conscious reflection, conscious guidance, as well as receiving energy in particular practices that are able to help with shedding layers, becoming clear, gaining wisdom from our past experiences, as well as strengthen our relationships and bringing balance and harmony into our everyday well-being. Here at Sacred Light Healing and Wellness, I, Marcus Christolight, offer my holistic quantum healing services of Reiki, personal customizable guided meditations, light language activations, crystal healing, soul origin and Akashic meditations, chakra empowerment, intuitive life guidance, and oracle card readings. These services are all available to you today through my holistic energy healing practices. You may contact me, Marcus Christolight, on Instagram, SacredLight33, Facebook, Christolight Robbins, email marcustut23@gmail.com. Contact me today to inquire about a service or to ask any questions on your healing journey. Wholeness, balance, love. So without further ado, Marcia, feel free to walk us along your experience from our session.
Greetings, Marcus. Hey, everybody. Yeah, it was a few weeks ago now, and it was mind-blowing and very healing. Yeah, a very connective force. So I've had different experiences through meditation regarding my past lives, and some of them have been otherworldly in the past. I always had a feeling like there was something different out there that I've experienced before, but didn't really have any knowledge of it until I had a meditation a few years ago, and I literally saw a whole other planet, totally different to Earth. And that made me feel a little bit more drawn to wanting to know my soul origin, because ever since I was the age of 3 or 4, I felt like I didn't come from here, but at the time I didn't really know that was the feeling. I just felt like it was different here, and literally every night before going to bed, I'd be looking at the moon as though I'm waiting for something to happen. And that's the only way I felt calm and some serenity to go to sleep. Even to the point where my mum would come in and scoop me up off the floor. I always used to have my bed or my bedding where I could see the moon or feel the moon rays on me before I could go to sleep. So yeah, as many times she'd pick me up off the floor and put me back in the bed. So I knew from way back when that there was something else out there for me, and there was a bigger meaning to it all. So that's when we had the meditation, and to start off, it was very relaxing. Marcus guides you in so calmly and with ease, and the most perfect breath work to ease you into that relaxed, safe, meditative state. And I was just in like vast darkness that just felt like you're getting a big hug. It felt safe, it felt good as we were going through the breath work and the meditation. And then there were just like blue lights all around me, like surrounding me like a swirl of a haze of blue lights. But then there were like shooting white stars going everywhere. So through the meditation, he started to guide us through like a doorway, and then at the other end was a different planet. I've had meditations with Marcus before, and I know going through that doorway, I'm not always ending up in Kemet somewhere because of my other Egyptian past lives, but this was so different. Even the transition going through the portal felt different because I've had so many different episodes of being transported somewhere else, like astral projection. So I'm quite used to that, but this was a whole different feel. As soon as we got to the destination, I realized I was in a body of water, and I was seeing it from a first person perspective, and the water was just like through my nose, as though I've just emerged through the water and the water's here and I'm looking around. And I had a strong sense that I was looking for something. I looked to my right and all I could see is just vast space and another planet in the distance. And I was on Syria. So I had the feeling and a very strong connection to Syria at the time. But at the back of it, I felt like a bit of dread. And then I dived down again, and I felt the feeling of other people diving down. So it turns out that I was leading a scientific team. We left our planet to go to Syria to find crystals and herbs, different plants under the sea that would help in our defense to what essentially was a war. And 3 days before the meditation, whenever I thought about, oh, I'm going to be doing the meditation soon, I'm really excited to find out what was going on, I had this sinking feeling in my stomach and a wave of sickness, like a bit of nausea, and I'm like, war. That's the only thing I kept feeling when that happened was war. And I was like, okay, so I need to make sure I'm really grounded and aware that this could get heavy. But even before that, in preparation, I'd been on a 4-day fast because I felt like I needed to prepare this vessel for the journey. I did a lot of meditation. I did a vortex meditation about an hour before we went on our journey, and then I spent half an hour before going on the meditation journaling the feelings and whatever messages were coming through. that was just in preparation. So I wanted to have clear body, clear mind for the journey. And I'm so glad I did that, because I was able to have a clear picture of what was happening, why things were happening, and what I could see what was going to happen while going through the portal. It had little flashes. So me and my team, we were searching and searching. Under the sea felt calm. It felt warm. The body of water, it wasn't exactly water, but you'd call it water, was very warm. There was an element of different species that some were paving the way so we could get down to the different caves and caverns that we had to search through. There were some that were like guarding the sides of us, because there were like different beings dotted along the side as though they were security, I would say, to make sure that we didn't have any interruptions. We were down there trying to find what we're looking for, because these elements were to use against defense. So they were very powerful. And also, it's part of a ritual as well for the beings down there. They use the herbs especially for different rituals, so they had to guard everything and protect us at the same time. It also had a feeling of like mermaid energy, which I'm already familiar with our Lemurian meditation we've done in the past. So there was that sort of element to it. So I felt safe, and I felt safe to guide my team down there to do our search. But then there was white lights again, and I felt uneasy, and I like, okay, what's happening? Because this shouldn't be happening. As we merged back up to the surface, and I looked in the distance, the planet was no more. All those lights and like star flashes that were coming through into the Syrian water was actually a meteor shower, because the planet had been destroyed. And it was at that it was at that moment I just I felt like my heart had been torn out. My soul was just gone. It's like, wow, we failed. Literally just watching my home planet just crumbling to pieces before me. Oh, I still get choked up just talking about it. And I was like, okay, we failed. And that's when I felt stranded. Literally felt like I've been abandoned on this planet, even though it was a planet that was familiar to me, because it was like the neighboring planet to Vega, and now Syria had to be my home. So I'd gone from being part of a bigger picture on my planet to now having many different sort of titles and jobs, because now it's all about rescue teams and making sure people were safe, gathering information and trying to figure out what to do next. And it was at that moment I felt like, oh, so that's why I was always searching when I was little, always looking at the moon and searching it and waiting, because there was that connectivity, like that piece of the jigsaw was now filled in. Like that's what I was always waiting for, like, oh, someone's gonna come and get me. I really didn't feel, and it's only like, it's like I integrated through myself into my inner child and was able to piece that together. Like, that's what I was waiting for. Like, I felt like I'd been left here and I'm waiting for someone to pick me up. But at the same time, when you think about it, it's like you're feeling like you've missed the school bus and you're waiting for the next one. You're like, God, is it going to get here? Type of feeling. That's the only way I could like sort of piece it together as my inner child's trying to make sense of it all as well at the same time. So yeah, that was different, because now I felt like I'm living through the different timelines and connecting the dots from my Earth timeline and my past and my memories and those feelings, and understanding why I felt like that, because way back when on another planet I was left. So that was like, whoa. that was like, that's deeper than deep.
Yeah, and I want to add that that's really like one of the really great benefits that can come with this type of awareness and these type of sessions is you can kind of start to see the puzzle pieces or the dots connect when it comes to the type of patterns and the type of cycles that are carrying over into your current human life. And when we think of time, I know it's really human of us to think of it as linear and like, you know, basically horizontal time traveling like that. But time in the bigger scope, it's parallel. It's all present. It's just different vibration rates of energy.
Yeah.
And when we can become aware of these cycles and patterns that have carried over from other incarnations and other forms of ourselves, then we're able to begin to accept and bring dissolving to these patterns and cycles that have been unconscious for us. And a lot of times we don't realize or we don't remember that there are different incarnations and different forms of our awareness that took on specific karma or dharma. So it cycles and patterns into our consciousness here as we're all connected in every facet of ourselves throughout time and space. So yeah, it's really powerful to be able to uncover these things, and it also can help clear out our DNA. And you know, the more we activate our DNA, the more we're able to access our light body and our higher self while we're in this human journey. But yeah, I just want to share that.
Yeah, thank you. That's just perfect, because that's how it was, and that's the stages that you go through. Sort of like piece it together, and then you can start the healing. But there was few things that I remembered as well. Just I think it's probably like a few seconds before you started to do the meditation, I heard a female voice in light language say start. And then you started with light language, and I was like, okay, here we go. It's just going to be a good one. I thought that was very poignant, because it was like instant. As soon as she said start, you started. And I had an image of like a female, half human, feline woman, but she had long, silvery white hair, like long to like the back of your calf. And I was like, wow. And when you said, okay, we now have to go back through the doorway and walk through Metatron, I saw her again, and it was like she was definitely leading the way through the doorway. But to me, I was like, okay, this is not a doorway again. This is another portal, because in previous meditations, when we've gone through doorways, I've literally seen the doorway, the whole design, the whole feel, felt everything. But this was definitely like a proper full-on portal that we went through. And as soon as Metatron was speaking to yourself, because I couldn't hear what he was saying, but I know he was speaking to you and you were responding, I started seeing triangles everywhere. And the triangles then sort of morphed into diamonds and was in a white crystallized space. And I was like, oh, I'm okay. I know where I am, because I was in the crystal realm, and that's always been a place that I've gone to whenever I needed to connect with my higher self, or even when I dream. Sometimes there's a space where the room or the house is just pure white and crystallized everywhere, or I'm in white crystals and I know that I'm not on Earth. I'm in like dream space, or in the crystal realm is where I connect with source and other being officials and doing whatever work I need to do. And that's where I do my, esoteric alchemy. I do my work basically. And then I wake up and I feel exhausted, like I hadn't been to sleep. So like I know that I've been working hard that night. But
Yeah.
when like you get there and it's like, okay, that made sense as well, because I always like had dreams, or whenever I travel, that's always one of the destinations. And now I know, because that was like the in between Vega and somewhere else, or wherever planet I needed to be on. That was like where you get your information, where we had meetings and everyone's like going through what they need to do. Everyone's getting their missions. Everyone's signing things off and agreeing to, like, it was only like a few days after the meditation I had dreams like that. I was like, oh, so that's where people go and sort out their Akashic records as well. Like, oh, okay.
Wow.
That makes sense. So you got like teams and teams of people, and they're waiting to be assessed. Got Osiris in the corner with his checklist. You got other beings over there doing what they need to do. You got angels there waiting for their messages and their work to be done. And then you've got the big circle. Everyone's getting their work. It's like, and that bit to me made me feel like Mission Impossible. Like, you got people that have got their mission, they got the warriors, they're getting their stuff sorted out and making sure that they're sorting out and looking after different planets. But then you've got your MIB side. You got your Men in Black side. You got the people, okay, these people are the people that's undercover. These are the light beings that need to do this. These are the people who are signing off when they're going to wake up, and who's going to be fully aware, who's going to be partially aware. And I was like, wow, there's a lot of heavy stuff going on, because now everyone needs to rally around. Vega's no more, and everyone needs to pull their weight to help. And who's going to take what group of beings? Who's going to now be that? And then I was like, oh, so that's why I'm a Syrian Lyran. Oh, okay. Because that was part of me signing off to say, yeah, okay, when that happens, or whatever time in the timeline, I've agreed to stay on Syria. And then it went back to me feeling as an inner child, like, oh, it's okay. I'm okay on Earth. I don't have to worry about that. Wow. Because Earth's safe. I don't have to worry about that. So when the time comes, I know I'm going to be okay. And I was like, wow. And that's the point when the lady looked back, said something in light language, and I was like, okay, so that's me up there. It was my higher self that was leading the way. And having conversation with Metatron, who said something to you that I didn't hear because I wasn't meant to. And then we did the light language just before we came back. but it wasn't Earth we came back to. There was somewhere else that we went first, and then we came back. And at that point, when we were going to leave the crystal realm, I could feel the tears and the grief building up and building up and building up, and I felt like I was going to implode. And I was aware in my light body that tears were rolling down my face, and I was doing the meditation and preparing to go on to the next phase of the meditation, because it was like in 3-4 stages. And then you said, and if at any point you want to release, that was it. The floods. I didn't even wait for you to finish the sentence. I was purging like you wouldn't believe.
Open the floodgates.
Floodgates? Even Moses couldn't hold that back.
Yeah, I remember
heavy.
I remember hearing the tears start coming out, and I was like, there it is. We hit the spot. We became aware of what we needed to heal. I love that. And I don't expect it, like going into these sessions, like I don't expect any of this stuff. And that's like the beauty of just the divine, and just having faith and trusting in these magical processes, and just really letting it happen as it needs to, instead of trying to like force the healing or force what we think about or focus on. Just open the space up, call in the guides, call in the appropriate light beings to be able to bring the most clarity, the most peace and awareness to the session, and have faith in that and let the process happen. And it's a great gift and honor to be able to be a medium, to be able to really just be a part of the orchestration of this whole entire grand plan that we're all part of. And it's continuously life-changing for me to have these sessions and to like hear these experiences, hear your guys' reflections, because I mean, this stuff is really, it's really mind-blowing, to just like average life and like average mindset about things. And to see the consistency of these type of experiences that are taking place between not just you, but others like Emily and Sarah, it is just, it's really beyond like life-changing. It's really stepping into a realm of, okay, we are definitely multidimensional, and like there's no disputing it after having these type of experiences between two individuals, not just one person, but two individuals, non-planned, different places of the world, experiencing glimpses and visions of what I'm about to speak on before I speak it, or like literally seeing it as I'm speaking it, and going even deeper into detail through their experience on their side. It's wow. That's all I gotta say.
Because there's points in it as well. I felt you hold my hand, because it was like, it's okay. I was like, oh. that for me was, that took me back to Earth, but another like lifetimes back. I was like, okay, my brother's keeping me safe. He's helping me keep grounded, and like I don't get too over overstimulated with it all. I was like, okay, I can do this. And it's at that point I was like, I was gonna have to give it back to source and just let it come out, because it's at that point I felt like I was grieving for everybody. Literally grieving for those who couldn't, because at that point I didn't know what would happen to anybody else, and I'm responsible for these people, all these beings that were helping, and like being the leader. And now I had my elder self holding my higher self's hand which I thought was crazy in a 3D way because I've seen her once before, which I think that's probably the first astral projection I had with yourself, where I saw my elder self. I did an edit of that's on my page. But like, she was holding her hand as to say, we're gonna be okay. And I just had to let it go. I had to let it go because I'm now grieving for everybody that can't. I'm grieving for the destruction of my planet. I'm grieving for my people, and I'm an elder, so I have a responsibility. And that didn't hit me until, well, we had the meditation on the Thursday. At work, I was like, I need to make sure that I'm so grounded, because the anger in me, Marcus, was ridiculous. I was gemmed up to the hilt that day. I had every gem going for protection, for grounding, for balance, for stability, for harmony, for peace. I don't know how I walked, because I felt like I had every piece of armor that I needed that day. Because woe betide any customer says something to me, they're gonna feel the wrath that I did not want to let out. Because I felt like there's major anger against those darn draconians in me that just wants to tear somebody up. Like lion eating its prey. And I got through the Friday, and I felt, even though I kept hydrated, I made sure I kept hydrated so that I kept making sure that I was fully integrated after the meditation. And then Thursday went, Friday went, Saturday, I could not get out of bed. The grief was so heavy. Heavy. It felt heavier than when I lost my mom. And that's only been 3 years ago. It felt heavier than, I felt like I had the whole planet on my stomach and my chest. And being an empath, that's not an easy thing to bear, because I literally felt like lead was holding me down to the bed, and I cried, I slept, I purged, I hydrated, just in a cycle all through Saturday. I didn't eat anything. I just drank, slept, cried, drank, slept, cried, went to the bathroom, dried, and it just started again. Because I was like, okay, wow, this is happening. I'm grieving because I witnessed it all. I'm grieving because there's sea life that got damaged by all the meters coming and doing destruction on Syria. So we had to try and get things in place to protect Syria, so that didn't implode from impact. We had to do grief ceremonies, we had to do tribe ceremonies, we had to do protection ceremonies, we had to do war defense, because we had our armies going off. We had to do protection circles for them. And then it was getting everybody together to do our healing and grieving ceremonies. Just like you would here, you know, you have your funeral, you have your wake. We did the same. But then it was, now I've done that, I've got to get my healer head on and start healing everybody as best as I can, to whatever degree I could. So it's getting the rest of the High Council together and doing those sessions, and then spreading that light throughout the planets. Sunday, I felt like lead working around walking around work because I felt like I had that head on, had like my alchemy healing head on, and that was after the grief went through and released that on the Saturday. In the timelines, that's what we did the following day, trying to heal everybody and heal the planets and get as much healing energy out to that planet. So yeah, I just felt heavy at work on Sunday. I didn't eat again because in the back of my head I kept thinking, oh, I'm so tired, I'm so tired. And it's all because I was busy in the esoteric section, just making sure like all the other leaders know what they need to do for whatever planets and sections of beings that they're looking after, and getting that healing energy and that white light out there. And it was at that point I had that feeling that was going through that when we were supposed to be coming back and integrating back into my body, and becoming basically in reverse, going back through the portals and the doorways that we went through. And there was a lot of blue light again, a lot of gold light. And I know the angels and archangels were doing their work to help me integrate back into my body safely. But at the same time, in a different timeline, I'm getting the team of healers doing the same thing and doing what we would call Reiki on the planets. And that's why I felt so drained on Sunday.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Oh.
Wow, that's amazing. So, wow, thank you for sharing all that, because I actually didn't know about some of this stuff.
I hadn't spoken to you about that, but yeah, all those came later.
Yeah, this is amazing to discover.
I thought I'll leave that bit for today.
Wow. So, what an integration process it's been for you.
That's why I've been quiet for the past 2 weeks.
That in itself, that's profound too. And just for everybody's awareness, like, we receive a healing session, or whenever we go through a transformation or a transformative experience, not only in that present moment are we shifting and changing, but it's actually going to have it's going to have a lingering effect, or it's going to have effect moving forward, because there's an alchemical change and transformation taking place with your being. So like she's describing, a day later to 2 days later, however long you divinely need, you may go through some intense purging, you may go through releasing old emotions, attachments, as well as memories and experiences that have been stored within your being, causing dysfunction, patterns and cycles that are not healthy, and a lot of other things as well. And the stuff really, like, it's really no joke when it comes to the sacredness and the magnitude of what this really is and what this does for us in our life. And I really like how you're explaining this, and then you're giving really good examples of how you balanced yourself and maintained yourself, nurtured yourself throughout the process, because it's super important that we're nurturing ourselves, that we're finding groundedness, and that we are really giving ourselves our attention and affection when we're going through these processes, as it's very, very deep on a cellular, biological level, metaphysical level, mental level, and galactic spiritual level. So nurturing and balance is great key.
Yeah, you don't want that bleeding out into people around you, and especially like I've got 2 baby empaths in my household. I need to be able to differentiate from my current energies to whatever changes and evolution I was going through, and integration. and then taking on the energies of everybody else, because I work in retail, so I'm coming in contact with so many different energies throughout the day, all day, every day.
Yep.
And being able to have that spiritual hygiene, because as soon as I got home, got out of my clothes, freshened up, did whatever meditation I needed to do, or just balancing and just stay calm, because I'm still going through it with the timelines, just to give myself that little bit of calm before, okay, now it's mommy mode. You know, and getting the dinner on. Is everybody okay? Do you have a good day? Do you need anything? Need to sort the washing out? You know what I mean? All the mundane earthly stuff. But
Yeah.
at the same
It's so
time,
funny too.
yeah, it's like there's nothing that's just gonna ground you more than having to wash dirty socks. You know, make you
Yeah.
feel human.
It's so
Getting the
funny, like the
washing the dishes.
multidimensionality of us and how like we could be consciously, doing all this stuff in the astral and doing all these different
Yeah.
things, traveling, doing like galactic things. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you gotta be on the earth and
Washing
just sit
socks
there
and
and wash the dishes or do laundry.
emptying the
So
dustbin,
funny.
get the trash out. Telling off so and so for like, listen, leave your brother alone. Stop messing with these things. Who
So
wants this for
funny.
dinner? Have you cleaned your room yet? You know, all the usual.
And I
Yeah.
also want to say for everybody out there too that not only is this something that can be beneficial for your own well-being personally and individually, but in the bigger scope of things, we're also connected to the collective consciousness as well. So as much as we're doing, purging for ourselves and becoming aware of our higher self, we're also helping the collective conscious grid and the grid here on the earth. Becoming aware of our organic timelines and our organic self is able to clear away of a lot of false programming, a lot of false light. It's also able to help with lifting the frequency and the vibration of the earth as we are lifting and uplifting our frequency as well. And along with this, there's many of us that are also holding on to similar experiences together from being in those places together. So for example, quite a few of us were on Lyra when Lyra got destroyed by the Draconians during the war. So a lot of us have that memory. A lot of us have, the anger or the hate or anything else that could be involved with that. And if one of us goes into that time space and starts clearing out that grid, because everything's an energy grid when it comes to the fourth dimension of our existence, everything is a time and space energy grid, and you're able to shift magnetically and energetically the grid. So when one of us goes in and does this deep diving soul work and grid work, then we're able to also affect the collective field and help release, any anger or hate or division that could be present within the collective field as well. Because there's quite a few of us that, walk around and we have this stigma towards draconians or reptilians. And a lot of us don't even realize it's a deep down attachment because of past experiences in other star places and constellations dealing with draconians throughout our galactic history.
And
so
it's
yeah, I just
just
want to point that out.
DNA trauma that we hold within ourselves.
Yeah. Yep.
And speaking on the Draconians as well, another thing that came to light was the fact that they were so greedy and jealous in a way. And that's the whole reason why they went to war in the first place, because they wanted to get our conscious technology and understand it. But instead of just like communicating and asking for guidance or help, because they needed help for their own planet, for bettering themselves and through illness. I don't know whether it was because the time was running out, but they thought they'd just fight their way through it rather than asking for help. I mean, we would have perfectly just like say, hey, come in, have a cup of tea, we'll talk about it, we'll share. But no, they had a whole other hostile way of doing things, and
Yeah.
just destruction came out instead.
And, we see these behaviors translated now on this current planet Earth. And, we see these behaviors through the propaganda of war, through, these very toxic and hazardous pills that they're giving us, along with, propaganda and the media and these central banking systems and the way they operate. These are all draconian systems. And these are systems that have been along for millions of years, if not longer. And it's been happening on other planets way before this Earth was even created. And it's just being patterned and cycled into this Earth as well. And that's why some of us are here. Some of us starseeds, some of us rainbow children, crystal children, whatever you want to call yourself. That's why we're here. Some of us is because we've been aware of these games for a long time. We've been aware of the in and outs of how existence was created and how it functions, which is why we have people that are a part of councils such as the Law of One, or the Raw Confederation, or the Galactic Federation. And, they're channeling messages through other beings on this Earth and giving us guidance, delivering us the principles of the universe, such as the Hermetics, as well as, the laws of Mott, the 42 laws. These are all passed down from our higher selves, our higher beings, in our councils, so that while we're here in this Earth walk, because we go through amnesia as a human species, we forget who we truly are beyond the human self. And that's why these principles and all this symbolism is left behind, quote unquote behind. So we can continue to have subtle reminders of who we truly are and why we're here. And for some of us, this is a time where we're being called to step up and step into our true power and our higher purpose. And for some of us, that is becoming aware of our soul origin. So we can become aware of the type of signature, the type of qualities, the type of divine imprints that we are designed and meant to embody and bridge here in this Earth grid while we're here. So we can counteract this whole imbalance of darkness and evil and bring balance and harmony to this planet Earth. And yes, we're all connected and everything has its place, but at the same time, we're also in the living present moment of existence. So like as long as we're in existence, it's still a present, it's a present functioning thing of life, where every moment and every choice that we're making is dictating not only our individual path, but our collective path. And based off of our vibration and our choices, we are always shifting our timeline and our collective experience every single day. So I just want people to remember that nothing is just flat out set up for us and just destined to happen. There's no finite one reality or timeline, but there's multidimensional timelines. And with that comes many, many, many probabilities of the direction our vibrational experience can go into. And the more conscious we are, the more we uphold integrity, sacredness, and boundaries and honor, then we're able to ripple into the collective timeline those type of values, and then it manifests even more. Ooh.
It's just like we're all part of one gigantic web.
Yep.
Raw, interwoven.
So I know that at the end of the session we have brought up becoming more aware of your teaching qualities and your purpose on this earth being aligned with, you know, teaching and guiding. Is there anything you want to speak on regarding that?
Yeah, that goes through so many timelines like you wouldn't believe, because back in my shaman days, I was a shaman leader. I taught people about herbs and using herbs and how to protect, and everything I've been doing is all about defense. It's like I was in permanent warrior mode. Again with Kemet, that was all about teaching and helping Isis, teaching people there. In my own life, I've been teaching people about how to use herbs in for your health, in cooking, in products that I've organic products that I made, teaching people about crystals, teaching people about energy. So it's like no matter what timeline I've been in, I've been teaching. And I've had different readings from beautiful souls that have said that it's something that I've always done and meant to do and will carry on doing in the future. So I'm not surprised about that at all. Because even on the daily, I'm teaching somebody something. Even at work, like with customers, you can guarantee every day someone has said, "Oh gosh, I've learned something new today." "Oh, I didn't know that." "Oh, that's amazing. Thanks for letting me know about that." "Oh, thank you for that advice." Could be, it's just, it pours out of me. Like sometimes it's because I know that somebody needs to know this message and they need to know that, and I'll tell them, and like, okay, this is how you do this and this is how you do that, and that you're supposed to do that and let this happen and let that happen. Or like, "Oh, did you know if you put that in, that will bring out the flavor and whatever?" And like, "Oh, I didn't know that." Like, I'm putting the shopping through and like, "Oh, if you do that, that will just enhance that." Like, "Oh wow, I didn't know that." Yeah, I like playing with flavors
I swear.
and cooking them.
I swear that's a Lyran thing. I feel like we just like, and I say we because I'm a Lyran as well for everybody out there.
Yeah.
It feels like there's always never a dullness in our creative mind. Like it feels like we can literally look at something or like find something and like, you know, somebody would be like, "Oh, it's like perfect already," or it's like it's all good. It's like something about the Lyran mind, it's like, oh, like I can
We'll
see
take it
where
one
I
step
can
further.
amplify and style this up and create a little more life out of this and bring a little bit more light and brightness to it. I feel like that's like my mindset about literally everything in life I come across. And it's put me into this amazing scope of creativity. I mean, just for example, like look at this, what we're doing. These soul origin testimonies where we're talking about full in-depth experiences about this. Like that is something that I would never have thought of in my typical Marcus life.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been foreseeing this 10 years ago. No way.
Yeah. It's it's
Not even
amazing where
5
we're
years
at.
ago. Like, nah. But
Yeah,
the
I'm
thing is,
just
I
full
want
of
to let
gratitude.
people know as well, like on a day-to-day human level, try and get rid of your traumas as much as possible, because especially the women, because we are creators of life, we hold trauma in our sacral energy field. And even like integrating after I had so much stomach cramps, you wouldn't believe. Like it felt like all that death was just stuck in my stomach, and all the pain that everybody felt was just stuck in my stomach, and it was just like we hold so much trauma, whether it's birthing or loss, in our stomach. And then for the males, they're in female womb absorbing that trauma, and then men are being born with trauma in their system and don't know it. And that can take on so many different forms depending on what path you're supposed to have. Some people will breeze through life and it doesn't affect them, but depending on what your journey's meant to be, or whether you're going to be a healer or not, or whether you're going to be a fully fledged, switched on light being, you're not going to feel that trauma. But for people like us who have gifts, who know what our gifts are or have been activated, those traumas are going to feel like the worst thing ever. But it's what's going to help us to grow, because we have to work past that, work through it, and do that shadow work. Because I'm more aware of why I'm a soul healer and why I pull shadows. And it just gives you that bit more understanding about yourself and your purpose of being here, because I don't feel like I'm lost anymore.
Yeah, because it kind of goes back to Cyrus. Cyrus came up the other day, and Cyrus is all about transformation, death and rebirth, and regeneration. So it's like a very vital role that we're able to trigger our shadows, that we're able to bring shadows into light, because it brings transformation. And the deeper that we're able to feel, for us that go deep into the feeling and sensing of the experiences and the darkness, the deeper we're able to transmute it into light. So it's just a very powerful process. And I just want to invite people to remember that it is an alchemical process. When you go into your shadows, whenever you go into dark valleys of life, and you kind of take on a lot of empathic energy regarding past experience or the collective or whatever it may be, just keep in mind that, number one, if it's already present and it's already happening with you, then try to find a way of acceptance. Like, this energy is moving through me. Try to find acceptance with that. And then number two, try to consciously remind yourself of the power behind it and what it is that will come of it. And that is more light and transmutation and clearing of the darkness. So just a couple reminders of when you're in that type of space, just trying to become conscious of the whole picture of it and what is the outcome of taking on and transmuting what is already present in you.
And another thing as well for spiritual hygiene, when you are going through that integration, that process of whether it's just general shadow work, or whether it could be the following stages of going through timelines like that, whether it's through meditation or whether you've astral projected, or it could even be through like dream state. Please stay out of like social lives, because don't go online and jump into people's lives and do whatever, because you're still getting back to your home body, and you don't want to be taking on all those other energies, because basically your soul's like a doorway, so you're still open to the energies as you're trying to integrate back into your body, your light body, get back in, and you don't want to be taking on whatever energies are flying around in their lives and integrating with people, because you don't know what you're going to be bleeding out at the same time, because basically your soul's like a portal as well. There's things that can come out, there's things that can go in, so you need to be, have safe, sacred spiritual hygiene and just stay offline if needs be.
Yeah.
Just become a hermit, just get back to yourself, get back to feeling those processes that you need to go through, and it's basically like the normal grieving stages you have to go through before you start socializing online again. And even just be aware of and be present in yourself around your family as well, if you've got family around you, because you don't want to be,
excellent point.
you don't want to be lashing out at people for no reason, and it's just like generational trauma, because you basically are healing your timeline, you're healing yourself, you're healing your past life, you're healing your inner child. I mean, like past human life, so like whatever trauma has happened in your childhood, but you're also dealing with generational trauma, because you're helping heal the generations that couldn't get to finish their journey, because we're basically taking on the next step. The baton's passed on to us, so we're helping to heal those timelines. And as I've now come to find out, you're not just dealing with your past lives and those that came before you, but you're dealing with your galactic timelines as well. So you don't want to be messing with all that. That's
As
just
above,
too
so
much
below.
high frequency. Yeah, definitely.
That's an excellent point. Thank you for bringing all that up. Our energy becomes very open and sensitive, especially when we're going through these transformative processes. And this is where you call in your guides for protection. You call in your archangels, such as Archangel Michael or Sekhmet, the Egyptian goddess, or you can carry your crystals with you, like your obsidian or your onyx or terahertz, something that will bring a protective energy field.
I've got terahertz, obsidian, and hematite in my bracelet, and I've got my light one. So I've got my yin and yang all the time, just to keep me centered, and then whatever I keep in my crystal pocket.
And
or my back pocket.
Also, everybody out there, I'm not saying this out of fear when it comes to protecting your energy. I know that can be like a misconception that it's supposed to be like a fearful thing, but it's not out of fear. It's out of sacredness and out of intelligence that we protect our energy. Because like we were saying, in these type of spaces, when you receive a session like that, or you're going through a deep healing process, you're very sensitive and very vulnerable to energies. And when you're that sensitive and vulnerable, you're susceptible to absorbing almost anything. And you don't want to be scared of this, but you just want to be aware of the type of effects that can happen if we're just absorbing unconsciously energy that doesn't benefit us or is going to lower our frequency. And along with this, the more we keep our frequency lowered and we're open like that, we're actually susceptible to lower entities and lower vibrational beings attaching to our energy field as well. Just to give that reminder.
Because they want a free ride. And
they do.
Saying that as well, in going into the meditation, I had my witch's finger crystal, which is for intuition and help deepening your third eye, and it's a spiritual crystal as well, which is made up of all sorts of other crystals. So I had that near my head, and I had my selenite in one hand and my terahertz in the other. So I've got that balance and protection and healing, and boosting my aura to be able to get these downloads. So you gotta protect yourself. And it's just like protection is just a way of giving love back to your community, because you're showing your community love by keeping that energy space safe. That's how I feel.
Yep. And it puts you in a position as well to remain clear in your energy and to be able to really just continue on with your purpose and your missions and your services, and ultimately have your energy be, the best, and be the best version you can in the moment, so that you're available. And when I say available, as in like available for the divine, like you're an available channel to be able to serve the higher purpose. And hey, if you need to take time to hermit, you need to take time to recalibrate, refresh yourself, cleanse, that's okay. Do so.
Yeah.
Take all the time you need.
You gotta show yourself some love and get those boundaries in place, and just listen to your heart space, and listen to your intuition of what your body needs, what your soul needs, and just go in whatever direction it's leading you to. Just trust the process. Trust yourself. Trust your higher self. Trust your guides. Trust the process.
Ashe.
And just, yeah. So it is, mate.
All right, sister Marcia. I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah.
We got Rising with Ra coming up in 20 minutes.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Marcus, because you have to take on so much energy yourself, and to be willing to be that channel, because you're basically a channel, a guide, like a spiritual lifeline. Like, we hold on and you guide us through it. Just imagine if someone's climbing at Mount Everest, there's somebody up there that's already led the way and holding the rope and making sure, you're anchored in. You've got your tools to get you up that mountain, and you're hooked on to the main rope, and you're safe going through it. And that was it. I always feel safe in these spaces with you. And you always guide us there and back safely. So much thanks.
Yeah, it's
on me and my guides with that.
It's a very, very sacred thing. These spaces and these actions, and it's something I don't take for granted. I'm very big on like preparation, as well as what I'm saying through my channeling and the way it's being guided, and really just really being aware and understanding the sensitivity of what these experiences are for our souls.
Yeah, because you're our messenger as well, because of the messages you get through and that you're told to pass on, whether it's in your words or your light language, because that's something you don't have control over. So you're having to be vulnerable yourself along the journey when you're helping people. So it's much appreciated, very much appreciated.
It's an honor. And it can be a little bit on the body sometimes, influxing all that energy and channeling, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it.
Oh, so blessed.
All right, everybody. I want to say thank you, Marcia, for coming on and wanting to share your experience with one of our Soul Origin Galactic Therapy sessions. And wow, if you guys have not followed her yet, you guys can follow her on Instagram under Energy Soul Child. And yeah, this is a very beautiful and also very, very messy time that we're in on this earth, as we're going through these pivotal transformative times. But I just want to remind us that the mess it's worth it. The mess is going to get us into a lot lighter and more whole experience and place together as a collective. And sometimes you gotta go through some destruction of the old to get to the new, so there's space, and that it can be fully appropriately how we want it to be without having some old system or old things kind of in the way of the full building of this new earth that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And if
You gotta
you guys,
clear things
what is
out
it?
to get the abundance in.
What was it?
You gotta clear things out to get that abundance in.
Exactly. You know, our abundance is electromagnetic. It flows through our being. Um, so yeah, if anybody out there would like to book a session or be a part of your own personal experience in one of these Soul Origin Galactic Therapy sessions, you guys can direct message me, and you guys can direct message me through Instagram, Sacred Light 33, on Facebook, Christolight Robbins, or on email, marcustut23@gmail.com. Just message me, let me know that you're interested in one of my services or the Soul Origin meditation, and we will set up a call, go through the motions so you can understand all the details, the layout, the pricing, and anything else that involves getting prepared for the session. And then we can book your session and uncover your soul lineage and a little bit about your galactic history.
Excellent.
All right, Marcia,
Thank
have
you.
a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for joining us again.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Wholeness and balanced love, everybody.
The Lyran constellation is said to be about 800 million years old, with its brightest star Vega being only 450 million years old, including the Ring Nebula. There is an ancient part of Lyran, though, called NGC 6791, that is an open cluster of stars that is estimated to be about 8 billion years old, about as old as Arcturus is. The Lyran constellation is associated with the myth of the Greek musician and poet Orpheus that carried a small harp-like instrument called a lyre, made by the god Mercury and given to Apollo as a gift, who later gave it to Orpheus, a musician under his care. It was first catalogued on Earth by the astronomer Ptolemy in the 2nd century and served to be an important inspiration to the collective of humanity. The Lyrans were some of the first humanoid races to be living on Earth and populated, starting the civilization of Atlantis and Lemuria, among with other races like the Draco reptilians and jelly-like water beings that would later move to planets around Sirius. Many say Lyrans are lion beings, but instead of having a full Earth lion head and human body, these humanoid beings are beautiful elfin-looking with feline features, elongated ears, and cat-like eyes that are almond-shaped with a slight slant upwards. They were known in the beginning to have red and golden hair, eyes green, golden, purple, and gray-blue. Their symbol is the lion face floating in space. Being fully aware of my Lyran ancestry, the lioness was one of my first spirit animals that came to me in time of healing. They are considered to be the first ancestors of the Pleiadians and even populated planets around Sirius, Orion, and Vega, along with many others. They are a proud race of beings, and a long time ago they created a great war between themselves, which caused a schism that caused so many of them to find new homes around the galaxy. The disagreement started well before coming to Earth, but there seemed to be a disagreement between factions that were on Lemuria and Atlantis. It had to do with the usage of power they were developing technologically, and some of those parts of Lemuria decided to focus their attention on tapping their inner power from meditation and spiritual healing, while the Atlantis scientists and government leaders became obsessed with harnessing the power of crystals and subatomic particles in order to create their own wormholes, black holes, and amplified atomic bombs. It was not that they were a destructive group. They just wanted to experiment with what they could create and look towards conquering other planets with lesser developed life forms and expansion of their own race. Lemuria leaders did not agree with Atlantis and would not help them in this effort towards acquiring new power. So the division between them got wider and wider over many years, where relationships were forbidden to happen between Atlanteans and Lemurians. Many star-crossed lover relationships formed into the collective subconscious of humanity during this particular time. The galactic story is that the development of this advanced technology caused a war between the two island nations, and eventually the explosion shook the foundations of each landmass and caused it to break off into the ocean and sink. But not until many of the inhabitants got onto their ships and went through wormhole portals, escaping with many Lemurian lives lost, due to Atlantis' attack first with their newly developed atomic bombs. After their nations were lost and not wanting to live on the land, they went back to their Lyra constellation to discuss with the council there. Their council helped them to see their wrongs from both nations, but still the schism existed between their people of what to do with their evolved civilization and where to go next with their technology they have uncovered. Later, when Vega the star formed, new planets formed around it, and Lyrans eventually divided themselves into the new race of beings known as the Vegans. The new life evolved on planets around Vega and became a bit different looking to their original Lyrans, adding new features to fit the planet environment. Vegans are humanoid looking, still with 2 arms, 2 legs, and torso and a head, but they can be set apart from Lyrans with their bluish skin and indigo blue, almost black hair. Some Vegans still had the lighter Lyran hair color, but generally Vegans were darker. They were a peaceful race that decided to send representatives to Earth when humanity was young and give the inhabitants of India the spiritual wisdom hidden in mythology called the Vedic texts. Their mission was to help humanity spiritually and learn the basic understanding of the interconnection in the universe that would later be the foundations of the chakra system and Hinduism. Today, Lyrans are all over the galaxy, fulfilling the plan of one day populating other planets, but doing it with respect towards other native life. Many of the Lemurian Lyrans went to the 7th star system, the Pleiades. Many of the Atlantis Lyrans went to Sirius, the brightest star in our sky, in search of a planet to live on, which is why sometimes Assyrians are often considered to be lion or cat beings. Lyrans are considered to be wise, ancient souls that are known as the Golden Light Ones around the galaxy. They are advanced in the healing arts as well as creating advanced technology, including with creative expression like music and art. The ones who still reside in Lyra are almost at a hive mind consciousness where the majority do not think only as individuals, but as one large group. The Lyrans are part of the Galactic Federation and are helping humanity since they are the ancestors within the Galactic Collective. They don't consider themselves as human gods, but rather great-grandfathers and grandmothers. Their energy is very warm-hearted and gregarious in nature. They act as mentors to other races and show some of the positive learnings from the past mistakes can create a wise race with vast amounts of knowledge and experience of the cosmos. Their concern for Earth right now is the lack of confidence humans have on Earth that they have for themselves individually. They see Earth has created an illusion matrix by STS, service to self beings, who have entrapped them with their minds, making them think they are not beautiful enough, smart enough, quick enough, popular enough, rich enough, successful enough to be considered of having value in society. They want humanity to know that each soul is a precious part of the collective that is of equal worth to the whole collective. A star is not worth its weight in its mass, but it is a significant part of the whole universe that lights the way for other planets, and if it is missing, it creates a black hole in space where it should be, since everything is connected on one fabric of space per dimension of reality. To work with these beings, just ask for help in bringing forth the true confidence within you if you lack it and are aware of it. This race is a proud one, but they are still very loving. They show you a delicate balance in loving oneself and loving others too equally. They are a major proponent of bringing the positive body image movement and self-love healing in. They know that all higher dimensions of consciousness are supported by the ability to first learn to accept one's duality and believing in the self. The following are exercises to probe your own mind deeper about them. You can write them down or just think about them, but when you do write them down, you will be able to refer to the information later on. Number 1. The Lyran story within the collective may make some souls more hungry for power and less hungry for it, depending on their soul paths. Do you sense what your past life tie was with this race? Write down your true feelings about the quest for external power and technology in the world today. What are some benefits and what are the cautions you have towards it? Number 2. Do you feel you would be more happy being part of technologically advanced and driven nation of Atlantis, or the more natural-oriented life such as on Lemuria? Number 3. Have you felt a deeper connection to cats or lions within your life? Do they hold an attractive quality to you? Ever have a lion or cat as a spirit animal? Write down some ways you may feel connected to lions or the feline group, or not feel connected to them at all. Number 4. In what ways do you feel you have forgotten your Lyran nature within? Divide your paper down the middle and think of ways you are confident about yourself and what ways you are not. Number 5. What ways have you noticed the prison matrix in society centered around inauthentic self-worth? Have you yourself noticed how much exterior looks and success is looked at more so than the inner beauty or inner happiness? Write down some societal structures or big industries in this world that have made it their mission to say that you are not good enough the way you naturally are, without spending money to improve yourself in some way. It is important to become aware of them so you start to see that you are not the one who needs true improvement. Number 6. What does the expression lion-hearted mean to you? Think deeply about this term that lies deep within the human collective. Is it a quality you have naturally had or tried to obtain? What does a lion-hearted person do, or how do they act like towards others? In what ways can you be more lion-hearted? Number 7. Self-confidence is about remembering your immortal soul within and the power that you have. In what ways can you start to work on your confidence more today without spending any money? Brainstorm a few ideas for yourself. Number 8. It has come time on Earth where the same situation is happening, where the story of Atlantis and Lemuria is repeating itself in the quest for technology and moving to other planets, instead of focusing on this one together. In what ways can you recognize the pattern of the past with today's world? How can we as souls ensure we do not repeat this ancient history of war within the collective? Okay, well, this concludes our Lesson 3. Class dismissed, and I'll see you all on the next video for Lesson 4.